Donald Trump has continued his successful tour of the Middle East, today dropping the bombshell statement that India has offered to slash their tariffs on the US to zero.
When you're building in India, you can build in India if you want to take care of India, because India is one of the highest tariff nations in the world. It's very hard to sell into India. And they've offered us a deal where basically they're willing to literally charge us no tariff. So we go from the highest tariff, you couldn't do business in India. We're not even a top 30 in India because the tariff is so high, to a point where they have actually told us, I assume you too, Scott, you were working on that also, that there will be no tariff, right? Would you say that's a difference? They're the highest and now they're saying no tariff.
But in true Trump style, keeping manufacturing within the US is his top priority, and made that very clear to Apple's CEO, Tim Cook.
Tim, I said, Tim, look, we've treated you really good. We put up with all the plants that you built in China for years. Now you got to build us. We're not interested in you building in India. India can take care of themselves. They're doing very well. We want you to build here, and they're going to be upping their production in the United States. Apple. So Apple's already in for $500 billion. But they're going to be upping their production.
Online commentators celebrated the announcement, with this person saying, "The art of the deal." And whilst a zero tariff trade deal is good for the economy, this commentator questions its viability. He said, "Lowering tariffs can open markets for the US, which is good news for manufacturers and workers. But trade deals aren't magic fixes without strong labour and environmental standards. They can also hurt workers overseas and at home. Real progress means fair, sustainable trade that protects jobs and the planet, not just headline-grabbing announcements." And whilst Trump's rhetoric suggests a deal is done and dusted, India is still saying nothing is set in stone, and that the trade deal will have to benefit them as much as the US.
The US tariffs are back in the spotlight after the US president delivered those comments in Qatar. But what is it that you're learning in terms of how is the Indian government taking this forward?
Well, it's very much a wait and watch policy over here, Akanksha. In fact, what they are saying, and as we all have reported, the Commerce Minister, Mr. Piyush Goyal, will be heading to America for that very important, much awaited BTA, or the bilateral trade talks, which are going to take place. But there have been backroom negotiations, there have been video call meetings. In fact, the government had also set up a small committee of ministers like Mr. Piyush Goyal, the Finance Minister, Shivraj Singh Chauhan. They are all important stakeholders as well as External Affairs Minister. And this is the job of this committee was essential to discuss on the trade tariff talks with America. So what government sources are telling us is that hold your horses. The trade negotiations are going to gather steam. We can expect some more clarity. India, of course, does want easing of trade tariffs on both the sides. It's going to be a give and take, just as America expects that we are going to give them huge concessions. We too would want some huge concessions coming in from America. But you know, Donald Trump's comment have often been like a pendulum, from beginning to say that America is a tough negotiator, to saying that they do understand Indian concerns and they are going to be accommodating. And now with these kind of words, it does put it a bit of an awkward situation just ahead of the BTA talks in America.
India's discussions with Trump come as China also finally came to the negotiation table, with both powerhouses reducing their tariffs to just 10% and achieving parity for 90 days to allow for negotiations.
And so today, with this agreement, we come to agreement that our reciprocal tariff rate will go down to 10% on the United States side, so it goes down 115%. We enter into a 90-day pause period for negotiations, which both the Chinese and the United States are very committed to, and the Chinese on their side also go down 115% to 10%, and they remove the countermeasures that they have in place. To be very clear, other measures that the United States has put in place in the past, whether it's tariff measures from 2018 or since, tariffs under other statutory authorities, tariff related to fentanyl, those remain unchanged for now to the side.
But many commentators are blasting Trump's treatment of India, saying that India and Modi bent over backwards for the US, only to have Trump tell US companies not to manufacture there. Modi held a political rally for Trump, spent hundreds of crores when Trump came to India, reduced tariffs for him, stopped war because of him, Bax made his temple. But Trump has asked Apple CEO to not invest in India. This is the state of affairs of Modi's foreign policy. And as the US and India continue trade talks, China continues to back Pakistan in their conflict, making geopolitical tensions reach fever pitch.
The size of the Chinese economy today is about 5 times as big as India's economy. This is the reality. But the point is, if India wants to shut itself out of China, it's in the detriment of the Indian people. So don't talk to me about closing China away from India, because you will do that with great harm to the fundamental interest of the Indian people. That's number one. Number two is don't ever underestimate China's commitment to Pakistan to defend Pakistan's legitimate interest of its sovereignty and territorial integrity. We are ironclad brothers and sisters.
So, Professor Gao, does China not have an iota of concern